Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, so going to do some new daily videos where we take votes from our members in the middle of the day as to which tickers they want to see covered at the end of each day, and then we do the technical analysis. So normally I'll rank them from most voted to least voted, and it started with Tesla, BA, AMD, but I'm going to start with RCL and CCL because that's what I was trading today, and they were more towards the lower end of the vote count, but I'm in charge. So RCL. We were looking for a daily lower high. Let's go to the setup. The setup is weekend homework. Setting up the trade of what I'm looking for this coming week. So in the chat room over the weekend, scouting daily lower highs on cruise plays, RCL, CCL, and CLH. Potential top fishing plays tomorrow with high of, I meant Thursday with the weekend. So high of Thursday resistance depending on SPY. Names positioned well for bears if we can just get some SPY daily consolidation, watching the SPY higher low everyday pattern. So the setup is we know that the SPY bulls have given us a higher low 6 days in a row. When that pattern breaks, daily consolidation is underway, and in my opinion, a lot of names will look for daily consolidation as well due to the correlation. Why I liked the cruise lines and also the airliners, but I stuck with the cruise liners for today, was because we're still in a tightening range. We have the low of the dump, the high of the bounce, higher low, and we're scouting a lower high. Anything under 49.87 was just a lower high, and we're looking for an equilibrium after a huge spike in volatility with a dump and a bounce. And again, these ranges are insane. 150% bounce, 50% pullback, 100% bounce. So huge volatility, which means trade with smaller position sizes. The trade that I took on RCL today, and I've never traded a cruise liner before, today was my first day, but I took a position size that was roughly 30% of my normal day trade position size because the volatility is so much more extreme. So I entered pre-market my initial short. And the reason for doing that was the pre-market setup. The hourly time frame had us watching for an hourly lower high. So I saw the dump on Thursday, significant pullback, little bounce at the end of the day. And so I looked at the setup this morning and said, okay, am I going to be able to top fish the high of Thursday as my stop? That would be a huge risk. If I'm entering bearish at $39 even, I'm then risking a $6 move, which is 15% before I would stop out. So my game plan was scale in. I'm going to make an initial bearish entry in case we set an hourly lower high pre-market, and SPY was the same setup, looking for an hourly lower high in pre-market trading. And if the bulls show up this morning, I made my first entry at 38.70. If the bulls had shown up, I would have made another entry in the $41, $42 range and then put my stop above 45. That would have made my average a bit more reasonable as far as the percentage risk I would have taken on. We didn't get any strength, so I entered bearish at 38.70 and we instantly pulled back very significantly from that level. So at that point into the morning, I ended up just trading pretty rapidly around my position. And when I'm not live streaming for the chart guys, I'm much more active in the first hour of trading because I can focus more. I'm not answering questions. I'm not looking at other charts. I am only looking at SPY and my one chart setup RCL. So what I did is I covered my short from 48.70. I was trading with half position. So had my full position, we'll call it, of 48.70. I would have entered more, 38.70. Would have entered more if we started strong. We didn't. So as soon as we dump at the open, that plays out the window. I have all the position that I'm going to take. I exited half into 5-minute extreme oversold conditions. I then reshorted it. I then went long. I covered again. I went long off this double bottom. I sold my long for a quick flip, and then I reshorted again, and then just rode it for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon and into the close. So I ended the day with half the position that I started with pre-market, but due to flipping it in both directions, ended up with a really nice 2.5, almost a 3-day maker trading RCL. So my game plan going forward is I'm looking for a daily higher low to form compared to 22.25. That's a long ways away. We can drop another 30% before we get to that support. So I'm anticipating an equilibrium is the most likely scenario. Looking for a higher low compared to 22.25, I can go about this two ways. I can wait for the hourly trend change back to the bulls to tell us the daily higher low is set, or I can just sell my second half of the position into weakness, anticipating that a daily higher low is coming. It all depends on how much wiggle room I want to give, how much I want to give the bears a chance to drive the price down. But I will probably, if we're red tomorrow, after dropping so significantly today, 17%, I will exit my position and call it a solidly successful trade. So on the hourly time frame for RCL, we had a bear flag mixed in there today, and I would call anything under 35.31 as an hourly lower high. CCL was pretty much the same setup. We're looking for a daily lower high compared to 1914. We have a higher low everyday pattern, 6 days, 5 days in a row. Similar to SPY, certainly telling me they're correlated. SPY broke that pattern. CCL broke that pattern as soon as we broke 1192. That is our bear break, and we opened under that level. So again, now we're looking for a higher low compared to 780 on the daily time frame, and the bulls would have to change the hourly trend back in their favor for that daily higher low to be set. Short-term hourly resistance, 1164. We'll keep an eye on that into tomorrow. Tesla had a huge day for the bulls today. Big volume. We were up, what, double-digit percent? End of the day, 13.6% up at the high of the day. Huge follow-through. Weekly time frame has a ton of space for a weekly higher low to form, anything above 350 whenever we top out. So we have reached the 50% retracement mark from the low of the dump, from where we came from to the low of the dump. We are absolutely looking for a weekly lower high here as well, but there is no indication that weekly lower high has been set. We're watching the hourly uptrend to see how long can the bulls keep full control in the short term, and we know that the next time we consolidate on the hourly, the bulls have tons of space to maintain the hourly uptrend. We're still going after hours here. Close 651, we're up at 669. Bulls are running it in extended hours. Tons of space for a higher low when we top out. When we lose the hourly uptrend, we'll zoom out and we'll look for a daily higher low. And anything above 446 is a daily higher low. Higher low 6 days in a row now. Bulls are very much in control on a lot of these time frames. And yes, we're looking for a weekly lower high, but again, can't be a stubborn bear. What is my confidence that a weekly lower high is going to form on Tesla? 95%. But I'm not going to sit here every day and be looking for a bearish entry and continuously get stopped out because I'm stubborn. I'm going to be very patient, waiting, if I were to take this trade, which I probably won't, but I would be very patient waiting for a good risk to reward opportunity and being very picky and waiting for the bears to prove something to me. BA. So BA, daily lower high has been set. I'm viewing this as a low, high, higher low. Our lower high is 164.80. Why are we calling it our lower high now? Because the pattern of a higher low every day the last 5 days broke today. So we're now looking for a daily higher low compared to 120. We can pull back 15% plus and still be holding that support level. And we need an hourly trend change back to the bulls for that daily higher low to be set. I would call anything under 150.59 as just an hourly lower high. So just another name, very similar to the cruise line setup, at least RCL's setup, where we are watching for this tightening range. And if we do form a tightening range and daily higher lows, it will likely be next week before we see these daily equilibriums break. And just a quick check-in on airliners to see if they're doing the same thing. AAL, not so much because we dropped to a lower low. Some of them are. LUV is a good one. Low, high, pretty much a double bottom, but a little higher low. Lower high is set. Now the question is, can the bulls hold that low of 29.73? So AMD, significant bull move today, certainly stands out. Close at the high of the day while the market was at red today. So definitely stands out. Are we looking for a weekly lower high? Yes, absolutely. There is no indication that it has been set. When we lose the pattern of a higher low every day for the last 5 days, we will then just look for a daily higher low because anything above 41.70 is a daily higher low. We are well above our low of today. Bulls have full control in the short term. Next resistance after 51.24, there's a gap to fill at 52.89. Hourly uptrend is our short-term guide. Did not see a clear hourly higher low form today. but 49.71, 49.72 is a little base of support that I would be watching as our most important short-term support level. BYND, all about 78.60 resistance tomorrow, because if we reject, we're in the same setup as all of these daily equilibriums we just looked at. The difference is obviously the bulls are favored as we're much closer to breaking resistance than we are to breaking support. It's just a question of, can we break 78.60 and see follow through in a similar manner to what SPY and Tesla and these lead bulls have already done, or do we reject from that level? We have to reject from 78.60 and lose the hourly uptrend with the higher low of 74.74 forming at the end of the day. So if we lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 78.60, our daily lower high will be set, and we'll then be looking for a daily higher low compared to $57. But again, bulls positioned very well, less than $2 from resistance, and a strong close at the high of the day. Hourly uptrend and 78.60 resistance are the most important factors heading into tomorrow as to whether or not we can confirm the daily trend change or we remain in a daily equilibrium. MEG, and this is a name on the TSX, the Toronto Exchange. So we have not changed the daily trend in a convincing manner. We did have a little higher low, higher high here, but when you're coming from this much weakness, that's not enough for me to call it a daily trend change. So now we're seeing enough clear pullback to be looking for a daily higher low compared to 113, 50% plus space before we get to that level. We have to form a daily higher low, change the hourly trend back to the bulls, and break resistance of 337 and 344 to confirm the daily trend change. At this point, this weekly bounce is not entirely convincing. You look at a bunch of other names, SPY and Tesla and everybody that we just looked at, a weekly higher low once we top out is extremely likely. A name like MEG that has not seen as significant a retracement on the bounce, less confident, but the fact that it's a penny stock and the fact that that support is so far away, I would look for a weekly higher low to form. That being said, at this point, the hourly downtrend is our short-term guide. Anything under 290 is just an hourly lower high, and support after 256, we're going to be looking down at 215 as the next clear level. Apple with a very strong close at the high of the day, a lead tech bull, higher low every day for the last 6 days in a row. When we lose that pattern, we look for a clear daily higher low compared to 236.90. Tech sector bulls still strong. No indication of a weekly lower high being set on Apple. Hourly uptrend is our short-term guide. I would call anything above 267.41 as an hourly higher low. And as far as resistance goes from here, after 273.70, we're looking at 279.92. And again, bulls very comfortable knowing that even when we lose the hourly uptrend and when we lose the pattern of a higher low every day, there's tons of space to keep the daily uptrend in their favor, at least initially. APT, bears have had control significantly over the last 5 trading days. Short-term key support is 11.55, and we held that at 11.80 so far, although actually, I take that back. Today we broke it. Not by much. Bulls seeing a decent response to that support breaking. After 11.55, we only dropped 5 cents, and then into the end of the day, we saw a decent little bounce, but it's not an hourly trend change. I would need to see the bulls change the hourly trend from here to say, okay, it's a break of support, but no follow through. Let's see what the bulls can do with it. So short-term resistance, 1260, then 1296 behind it. And I want to smooth this out. Look at the weekly chart for clarity, where we have our low, high of the huge breakout, higher low at 833, lower high at 1875, and the bulls have to change the trend on the daily time frame back in their favor for us to be looking for a weekly higher low to form compared to 833 support. So what I would need to see is a bounce on the daily, top out, set a higher low, and then a higher high. That would be the daily trend change. So it's going to take a while for the bulls to prove that to us, but we are looking for a weekly higher low compared to 833. Amazon, huge day for the bulls today. Higher low every day for the last 5 days in a row. And we are looking back at the all-time high. That all-time high is roughly 1% away, just under it. If we reject from the all-time high, we'll be watching for a weekly lower high. If we break that level, it is a huge statement of confidence in not only the Amazon bulls, but market bulls as well. Keeping in mind some of these major tech names, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, they're performing well, and they are the most important individual names in the market as a whole because of how much weight the tech sector has in all of our ETFs and in the S&P 500 itself. So Amazon, the hourly uptrend is our guide, which is the case for anybody that closed strong today. Anything above 21.26 is an hourly higher low. When we lose the hourly uptrend, we're going to look for a daily higher low. Anything above 18.89, tons of space for the bulls. I was watching for Amazon and Netflix to give us a bearish entry last week. But one thing that I didn't do is enter any bearish positions. Why? Because the daily uptrend remains intact. You better believe I was sitting here patiently watching and saying, all right, just give us some SPY weakness and give us a loss of this daily uptrend, and our weekly lower high will be set. And I was scouting Amazon and Netflix for bearish entries. We did not see market weakness last week, and we did not see the daily higher lows lost. So no bearish entries. So hourly uptrend, daily uptrend, easily intact, all-time high, 21.86. Netflix with a huge day as well. Came close to a bear break. High, low, double top, barely held a higher low, but that's certainly convincing that this daily uptrend remains intact. And again, just higher lows and higher highs this entire bounce. Weekly time frame, breaking resistance, very notable. And now we're looking at 400 psychological, and then 423.21, the all-time high. Hourly uptrend is our short-term guide. Anything above the low of today is an hourly higher low. When we lose the hourly uptrend, anything above 363 is just a daily higher low, keeping the daily uptrend intact. So burden-approved short-term is on market bears overall. Some of these names are positioned much weaker than others. Names rejecting from the bounce highs are weaker than names that are breaking out to fresh highs over the highs of last week. Hope you had a good day. Do good things out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Mostly just flowers left. We've got some basil, green and purple basil, some sage and some dill. This is rhubarb, but everything else is flowers. Just mulched a bunch of the garden beds where I'm going to stick all these flowers when they're ready. And it wraps all around here. So pretty much in front of all these bushes where they won't get blocked of sunlight. Raspberries are going off. Lots of green growth. Blueberries putting out their flowers. Planted a bunch of extra everything, so a bunch of transplants that I have of celery and kale and chard I'm just sticking out here in the garden bed, so any animals that want to eat them are welcome to it. Hopefully they leave my garden alone in return. This elderberry was one of the first perennials to really explode with the first signs of warmth.